the last 2 years have been beautiful, really beautiful, because I had the luck to work with wonderful people. We did a lot of things. We started initiatives. We completed some that were going on. We started new ones that are going on right now. And it was very rewarding because everybody was willing to put a piece of himself or herself for the success of the society. And I think that altogether we achieved a lot of things. Probably more than I expected when I stepped in as a president. So this is the best wish that I can give you, that probably you will achieve more than you right now are expecting. And I know that you are a great achiever. Lows. Well, the only loss I had is that my life was already very busy with tasks, and I added more. And so the loss is that sometimes I didn't have time for my family, for leisure, for just relaxing a minute. But in the hindsight, after 2 years, I think every moment was worth it. I would say that my main goal was to make IHS more global, more inclusive of the country where there is not optimal management of headache, for the countries where research in headache is not a possibility. And so over the years we developed a few initiatives that were specifically targeted on that. And I think saying that I was or we were successful is probably too early, but I think that we managed well to set a path. And that would probably be what I think is the most important thing. Well, another thing that I and we all together with the board aimed was to increase the standing of IHS within the scientific society, within the Society of Neurology, to provide more attention for headaches. So far, IHS has never done international treatment guidelines. It has focused on guidelines for clinical trials, but never treatment guidelines, because there was this belief that treatment guidelines were better done by national societies, because each country has a different type of regulation. I say that it's true that it is easier if the national society do them, because they have their regulation, they have the drugs that are available. But I also think it is important that IHS delivers a set of international guidelines for two reasons. Because those can be used by the national society to be adapted, so it will facilitate those national societies who do not have therapeutic guidelines. And on the other hand, the International Society treatment guideline can be used by the national society as a leverage to improve the treatment, the management of headaches. Well, I think that IHS is a very healthy society, a very strong society. People are happy of being members of IHS society, and people want to work with and for IHS society. So in this sense, I think that the future is very nice. Maybe one challenge that we have, and it will require a lot of attention, is that it is a good thing because we have a lot of drugs that are effective and well tolerated. So there is much that we can do for our patient. And probably the challenge is to bring to the largest possible population these drugs, because they are effective, they are safe, There are a lot of patients who could benefit from them. So this is a challenge, not easy to reach, but we can do it. We need to speak with the policymaker. We need to write documents like the International Headache Society guidelines. We need to do awareness, but all this is already going on. So we just have to keep up.
Sure, I do. Basically, everything that Cristina talked about, I want to move forward and make it happen. So the International Headache Society is a society mainly of clinicians and researchers, and it is important to continue to foster it and bring more clinicians and more neurologists into the society and educate them, because better educated doctor will deliver better medicine for us, and continue to support the scientists here and encourage them to be a part of the society. This is all makes sense. We don't want to change it. On the other hand, it's hard to get the feeling that the society until now was truly and deeply committed to be a patient-oriented society. And it's not that we didn't try, it's just a different ballpark. It's more difficult. The lifting the burden defined to us a problem. And the problem is that for more than 98% of the patients in the world that have migraine or headache, there is virtually no access to two fundamental things: to MDs, to nurses, mostly to people who have any education that is higher than high school. And for most part, they don't have access to any medicine that was ever developed for headache. They don't have access to triptans. They don't have access to any of the CGRP inhibitors. Maybe they have access to Tylenol, aspirin, and over-the-counter NSAIDs. For most part, they don't have access to Topomax, amitriptyline, propranolol. It just doesn't exist in the majority of the countries. Somebody defined for us the problem that is accepted by the World Health Organization. We need to translate. I think that we know the solutions. It's going to be difficult to come up with the solution. It will probably take $1 billion. We should be able to come up with it. We should be able to do what it takes to educate those who actually see the patient. Pharmacists, illegal pharmacists, healthcare workers, social workers, whoever it is, that they go and say they have a headache. And we need to find a way to bring medicine. So maybe we can't bring Rimagepant that costs $126 a pill, but triptan costs $1.60. And if we negotiate it right, maybe we can get it for 20 cents a pill. And when we get to that, we have to build the infrastructure. What Cristina said, that I took important notes, is that even if we can get all of it done, we can't do anything with it if you don't have a government that will dispense the medicine. You can't just take 1 billion pills and give it to someone. It has to go through government, health ministries, and pharmacies that can actually deliver it. And if we ever want to do that, we need to build an outcome measure to show that we make a difference, to show that we do bring medicine, and that people who get the medicine that we bring them and the knowledge that we bring to those who they go and complain about the headache actually change their life. And not without outcome measure, almost none of the things that we do will be valued if we don't know what's the outcome. So this is a difficult question to answer because we tried. And I'm not going to invent the wheel on that. We tried. Our success rate is disproportional to our effort to attract them. The vision that I have in that is that our best chance of succeeding is to reach out and attract to everybody in the periphery of migraine, ENTs, dentists, or facial pain, internal medicine, maybe psychologists, clearly nurses or nurse practitioners. We need to reach out to discipline, invite them into our meeting. They will not come if we don't give them the stage. We have a better chance if we do give them the stage and ask them to try to cross paths with us on where TMJ and migraine talk to each other and do it from both sides. Having said that, I'm not sure that this is the right question. I think that the other option is to continue on what I was just saying. If in a country where people with headache go to the pharmacy, you think that we can reach out to pharmacists and educate the pharmacists about headache because they are the one who supposed to see the patient. But the answer is that even the pharmacists don't see them. Those who see them are the cashier who stand in the window, and the patient comes and says, "I have a headache, what should I do?" And they look at the wall behind them, and they have 10,000 different boxes of over-the-counter NSAIDs. So whoever it is that is the last person, the lowest in the food chain on or who the patient talked to, these are the people who we need to attract to communicate with us. Yeah, so we've been thinking about it together with Mario for quite some time. And I think that there are 3 components to that. The first component is that it should go under the logo of there is more than one truth to migraine. And more specifically, I would like this meeting to be around session where to one question, there are at least 3 sets of data that come up with completely different answers. And our goal is to choose those studies that we think are all correct. And instead of figure out if it's not my work, it must not be correct, get a chance to synthesize 3 different truths to one question, because it's unlikely that there's only one truth to any question in the field of headache. And that, we can call it debate, you can call it whatever, but this is number 1. Number 2, we have a goal of 200 speakers and 4,000 attendees. And we know that we can get them from within the affiliation of the International Headache Society, but we are going to reach out to general practitioners, to dentists, to ENTs, to people in societies that are maybe ophthalmologists that are close to us. And the third part is, given the work that I've been doing in several low-income countries in different continents, I think that we do want, in any form that we can figure out, give them the stage to present the state of headache medicine in their countries. Because I think that when the society is not aware of it, the society is not aware of how much work we need to do to change, to actually bring headache medicine to the world, not only to the US and Europe. So this is a difficult question. I think we all agree that we are not today we are not where we would like to be. I think that we will need to increase the number of publications in cephalalgia. I think that we will need to consider, following on what Cristina said, I do think that we will need to write guidelines for every country in the world, as IHS, working together with them, but publish it under the IHS and publish it in cephalalgia. And because where we are today, our guideline is not telling a patient who has an access only to Tylenol what to do. And we don't have an access, we don't have guideline to patients who don't even have Tylenol. This is a different guideline than what we've been writing. And maybe it has to be grouped somehow, but I think that the principle is that guidelines are critical for cephalalgia, and I don't see how we can skip the stage of doing it for one country at a time.
Can I add something? Because I agree with you, because we would like to be in a better place if we speak of impact factor, but I think that cephalalgia is a very good scientific journal, very well respected, with a very strong scientific reputation. So this is important to underscore in every moment, regardless of the impact factor.
I agree 100%, and I don't think that the impact factor is the most important part that we need to live in, but I think that the number of papers that we are publishing is too small to a society of our size, and the amount of knowledge that we are generating that disappear, because when it's published not in cephalalgia, the majority of the membership of the International Headache Society will never know about it. And it is really because we want them to know what we publish, that we have to push it into cephalalgia.
IHS is the leader of the headache field, no doubt about it. It has been each year reaching more and more physicians and more widespread. By doing IHCs in Asia and South America, by electing a president outside the US-Europe axis, and so many other initiatives. People everywhere in the world should feel they are part of the society. And I really want we keep growing, but I work to see more and more people from more regions giving more and more significant contributions. Medicine is driven by new discoveries, investment of pharmaceutical companies, brought new medications to the market, but the society is the guardian of knowledge, direction of the best possible management, which means diagnostic approaches and innovative solutions, centered in the patient suffering and not only profit. We have to think about cost-effective solutions too, tailored by local needs, patient-centered, regardless of its medication or a non-pharmacological treatment. Headache care is extremely heterogeneous worldwide. 80% of monoclonal antibodies have been prescribed in the US, and even in the US, there is a great inequity. Ideally, we'll fight for the best treatments available for everybody, but let's not forget initiatives should be tailored. We need a clear view of what is the underdiagnosis and undertreatment scene globally. IHS will lead the way of defining targets and goals and provide recommendations for improving migraine quality of life worldwide. We have been taking special care of the young since ages. It's in our DNA. International Headache Society will continue to look for new people, new scientists, new clinicians interested in headache. And it's going to be a priority for us.